Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Awesome. Well, welcome to Sunday service. So happy to see many new faces and familiar faces. So it's always really fun to have us here coming together. If you'll just take a moment and make sure your cell phone is off. Really important so it doesn't take up our Wi-Fi and God doesn't call during the service. Or your mother, either one. Will you get the door, Terry? It's locked, so I'm just unlock that. We'll let her in. The other way. There you go. There we go. Okay, come on in. Come on in. There you go. Grab a seat. Hi. Welcome. All right, perfect timing. We're all good?
Yeah.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
You excited?
Yeah.
Did you bring your loved ones?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we'll tell you if you brought your loved ones. I'm just kidding. So we make this fun, and we make it a way for us to come together and to really remind ourselves of our own power, of our soul, of the spirit around us, of our loved ones, and how we all really have such a common thread that we don't engage enough in, right? We get so busy. So this is just a beautiful time for us to celebrate. Remember your loved ones. Let's hope maybe a few messages come through today. So a couple notes here. When we have the mediums work, I will introduce them. They're all professional mediums. Even if their knees knock when they're up here, trust me, they are professional. They just, maybe it's their first service or things like that. But we have an amazing group here today that it's beautiful to watch them work. And really lucky, it took me a few months to get her here. She's so busy, but we have a professional talk from Lima about near-death experience. So, aren't you just like, ooh? I know I am. So, but we love to start with a message from Spirit. So if you'll just take a moment and listen. So, you are enough. Whenever you feel down and discouraged, we want you to know that you are enough. There is no change to make you greater, for the greatness is already there. Lying within you is this pulsating light waiting to be nurtured. Every time you give your light love, it expands. Your love expands, and your light grows. You have dreams and desires, yet fear holds you back. You place limits upon yourself. Yet we want to remind you that you are meant to explore all passions in life. When you feel the urge to try something new, that is us giving you the inspiration, the nudge you need to move forward. Your greatness is already there. It is the light within waiting to be nurtured. You worry if you succeed or if those around you will be satisfied. We want to remind you that you are already successful. You have already made this incredible journey into this physical body and this physical world. That in itself is a miracle. And you are trying to work out the navigation, but remember, your soul is soul of us. You are not limited on your potential, for all that you dream to be is already within you. It has already happened. Each time you say yes to a nudge, you are saying yes to your soul, your spirit, and your light. With every yes, your light expands and has the ability to be the blanket of hope for all those around you who need extra support, love, and nurturing. You are a guided being. You are on this journey, and we are on this journey with you. With every yes you give us, we give you more opportunity. We show you the path to help navigate along this physical experience in hopes that you will see the incredible power that is already within you. You are deeply loved. You are our inspiration, as we are yours. Go inward to understand all that you are, and go out to the world to share it. Some of you are like, I want more. Come on, Spirit, keep talking. But you know what's beautiful about the messages? They're just channeled. You know, I don't even personal level. I don't think about what should it be. What do you want? I just sit there and go, okay, all right. And then it comes out, and I'm like, this is really beautiful. It's a beautiful reminder. You know, we just forget, don't we? We just forget of how powerful and our potential and our love and our light. We just kind of get in the way of 405 traffic and standing in line too long and getting impatient and getting upset over little things when it is this powerful light and essence within us that can literally change the world. So we do a talk of the day. And I'm going to be honest, I had a thought. So the talk of the day, I do try to say, hey, what are we going to talk about? And I had this talk, and this morning, they completely threw it out and said, no, that's not what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about this. And I thought, but I don't have time to write it down. And they said, that's why you have to trust. I'm like, that's not fair. So, good morning. Have a seat. I believe there's one right there. So, it's interesting. We're going to talk about loneliness. And it was this thought. There's been a few thoughts that have popped in. And so for the loneliness, if you could just shut the phone off for me, thank you. For the loneliness, we all are always saying, you have to be happy alone. You have to be happy with yourself before you can be happy with someone else, right? We've all heard that, am I right? There's a truth to it. But the inspiration that came this morning was, we're not meant to be alone. We all came from Source. And then Source kind of sprinkles us out into these multi-physical bodies, animals, plants, whatever it be, physical energy into the world, right? But we are all one. So there's always a place that says, oh, I need my one. Where's my other one? Where's the rest of me? So all of us are always going through life saying, where's the rest of me? Because we are one. That's why we have these partners. That's why we want that connection with one another. So as much as it's important to be yourself, own yourself, love yourself fully, it's also as important to be open to being a social being, to love everyone around you, to stay connected. When we get hurt, what do? We disconnect. We pull away. We stop trying. We let go because it hurts. We've been pained. But as my spinning teacher said this week, in order to heal, you must feel. And I'm on my spinning bike going, yes, yes. And he said, keep spinning. But the essence is, when we can remember and when we can allow our pain and hurt to just not stop us from being connected to one another, to reaching out, to giving a smile, to taking the time to have a conversation and not just a text message. To take the time to get together. My goodness, it's going to be 30 minutes in traffic. And take the time to connect. Connect with your own soul, your own higher self. You'd be surprised how much that spirit will keep talking to you. They're just chatterboxes when you let them. And a lot of you feel that nudge, as they were saying. Am I right? How many people have felt a nudge from spirit? Raise your hand. That's right. They are reminding you you are not alone. So when you feel lonely, ask yourself, how can I be more social? How can I reach out rather than close in? And have having sushi the other night. Sushi is quite inspiring. Having sushi, there was just this thing that popped in, and I'm sure someone else has said it along the line, I just didn't come across it yet. But enlightenment. And I heard enlightenment, and then I heard, in light we met. And it was about a spiritual awakening in which you remember that you are from Source and are Source simultaneously. So when we remember each of us is from Source, like when you remember someone frustrates you or they cut you off on the street or something doesn't seem fair, if you take a moment before you hit them,
Yes.
But if you just take a moment and look at them and say, you are from Source as I, we are together, that might bring you a little closer into kind of having a more understanding of maybe what they're going through or where they're coming from. Because so many times we're going through these pains and these struggles and these setbacks, spring forwards, that kind of create this ebb and flow in our life. And when we understand that we are together, we are from Source, perhaps that will ease any loneliness that you may feel. All right? So that's what they want to talk about. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. Awesome. All right, so we are going to have our professional talk. If you'll do me a favor, Yusana, just grab those baskets for me. We'll just pass them up. We're going to pass out baskets, if you don't mind. It's a $10 donation. We put it back into helping build the site, build the classes, and spread the love here. So thank you. I really appreciate it. And just feel free to pass it around. So our guest speaker today is a wonder. She's quite incredible. She's a psychologist and a psychic medium. Is that not incredible? Right? And there's a party that says, how does that happen? But it's a beautiful combination. It's a beautiful recognition. And I love that for her, a lot of mediums, I can't say most, it just depends, it's a case by case. But some mediums have their gift at a very young age, right? But she didn't. It wasn't until her brother transitioned and then he spoke to her that she realized, hey, I have this gift. And I'm sure there was an unfolding of that discovery, right? But you can imagine if you have never done that work, and then all of a sudden your loved one is talking to you, I'd be like, what's that? Growing up with it is a little easier because you just, everyone's talking to dead people. But when you're an adult and this happens, it's quite a different experience. And it's quite beautiful and it's quite amazing. And I love that, as a psychologist and a successful career and doing all of that wonderful work, that she also honored and said, I need to serve spirit and I'm ready to serve spirit. And so she's a professional psychic medium and has trained with us. We have trained with some of the best tutors around the world and we're really grateful for it. But she is going to talk about near-death experience and what that means and how that has shaped her life, how it can shape your life, and what does Spirit really want us to know about it? Okay? So I would love to welcome Nima Herman.
Thank you so much for that lovely introduction. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
I'm really happy to be here. Your talk, Colby, was so inspiring that I am just leaving my notes behind and I'm going to wing this now. I've never given this talk in such a short period of time, so I was a little nervous that I'd get everything in, but we're just going to talk and she'll just cut me off when it's time to stop, okay? All right, so I want to start with a statement that maybe is contrary to what you've heard when you hear people talk about death, and that is that we are not all dying. You're not dying, you're not dying, you're not dying, and yes, it's true that our body at some point is going to lose its mojo and go kaput. But the good news is that has absolutely nothing to do with who we are, right? You are a soul, and your soul is your core consciousness. And that core consciousness is part of a universal consciousness that has no end. So therefore, you don't end. So your loved ones who are in spirit, lining up as we speak to come and talk to you, they're evidence of that your life is eternal. So, what is a near-death experience? The common understanding of that is that the body dies, it flatlines, there's this darkness, and then at some point, somehow, your soul rises from the body, goes to the other side, has this journey, and meanwhile, through some miracle or medical intervention or combination of both, your body is brought back to life, and your soul suddenly goes, oh, I guess I'm back, right? Comes back to the body, and therefore there's round 2 of life, right? Now, I have had 4 near-death experiences, and that's partly why I give these talks. They happened in the course of a decade. Very interesting decade of my life. And so that's sort of the foundation of my experiences, and while this talk isn't specifically to tell you all about that, that's a whole other hour-long speech, I will be referring to it while I explain to you the different aspects of a near-death experience, okay? So, what I want you to know is that that's not the only way to have a near-death experience, and there is a little tweak I'm going to make to that story, too, in just a minute. Near-death experiences can happen when you're on the brink of death. So you don't have to flatline. You can be, there can be imminent death. So 2 of my experiences were imminent death situations, and 2 of them I did have to be resuscitated. But you can also have a near-death experience if you're experiencing some sort of intense psychological trauma where you think you're going to die. So that is another situation. And finally, the last one that I know of is being in a coma. So you're not technically dead, but a coma, doesn't matter how long it lasts, people come back from comas and they explain everything that happened to them while they were on the other side. The history of near-death experiences might surprise you. They go back, the first written thing that we know about was actually by Plato in 420 BC in a book called The Republic, where he talks about a soldier who died and on his funeral pyre came back to life, and he describes the afterlife. So that's the first written text that we know about, where there's a talk of there being an afterlife. We've had some, really well-known people that you know of, Thomas Edison, Carl Jung, Ernest Hemingway, have all talked about their near-death experiences. But what's really fascinating to me is that these stories come from all over the world. And there is no commonality between the themes. There's no demographic commonality between the themes by the people who report them. So it doesn't matter how old you are, children have these experiences, elderly people, it doesn't matter the age, the sex, the religious affiliation, the socioeconomic status, any part of their life history. There's no correlations in one person's story and another's for these common things to happen. And I just find that amazing. So, so here are some of the common themes. The first thing I really want people to know that I don't know, just for me, it seems like it's the biggest misconception. And that is that there is this sort of lights out when you die. That there's a darkness, there's sort of an end to you, and that at some point you're on the other side and you're experiencing what the afterlife is. And that is not true. And I can say that because I've done it 4 times. But I also haven't read or don't know of anybody else that would argue with me in saying that it's a seamless process. So it's not like your body's here and then it's gone and then you're there. It's that your consciousness doesn't stop. Our consciousness has no stop. It's eternal. And so when you cross over, you are completely aware of everything that's going on. So if you're, I don't know, this is just coming to mind completely off the cuff, but I'm imagining people who feel like they didn't get to say goodbye, didn't get to make it to the hospital in time, or have those last words with their loved one. You can say them because your loved one can still hear you, okay? It is a seamless process. And my best example to give you of my own is that my second near-death experience was a process of slowly just stopping breathing. And I remember that sensation. I could feel myself with my breath coming to an end. And at the same time that was happening, as that was unfolding, I suddenly, as I was rising above my body, my very first thought was, this is so cool, I don't even have to breathe. And it was fabulous because I was in so much pain. I was in physically in a lot of pain, and breathing even hurt me. And so to have that freedom and that realization, it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm dead. It was, oh my God, I don't even have to breathe. How cool is that? And then I watched my entire rescue unfold, you know? And so that kind of leads me into sort of the next thing, in that you can see everything that's going on. You are witness to the events. And I love reading the stories of people who are, you know, maybe a little afraid to tell people what happened because they're afraid they'll be judged or thought they're crazy or whatever. And so they come up with this great evidence, which one lady said that she was trying to convince her social worker in the hospital what happened to her, and the social worker wasn't believing her. And she said, wait a minute, there's an old blue tennis shoe that's stuck on the ledge of the wall outside my hospital window. And go look, it's there. Because she saw it. She saw it from above, and sure enough, it was there. For me, my second experience, I was, you know, watching them resuscitate me and all the, you know, drama that was going on around that. And I remember my husband telling the paramedics what my medications were. And he was totally getting it all wrong. And I remember thinking, you doofus, like, that's not what I'm taking. Like, what are you doing? Like, I had that experience. So you do see things unfold, and you are aware of it. There are blind people who come back and talk about how they saw everything in color because of the blindness on the other side. So, so let me talk about what it's like to come back to the body, because that's kind of the opposite experience. When I came back into my body, there was a jolting sense. And I kind of think of it sort of like, you know, rebirthing in a way. In a lot of ways, I think of it like that, because you are a changed person. You do change. Your life is never the same after a near-death experience. It changes you. And so coming back, you know, I'm going to still stick with this, you know, theory that there's no loss of consciousness, but the difference between leaving the body behind and then coming back to the body is that you suddenly have this mass, you suddenly have this meat suit and this ego mind, right? And so your ego mind, when you come back to the body, becomes very strong, and you're like, what happened? Am I alive? Like, what's going on? What are people doing? You know, what happened to me? And so all of that takes over that flow of soul consciousness that is so beautiful and so seamless when you pass over and leave your body. So it's a different kind of experience. I know, like, I had an experience where they were doing a medical procedure on me when I came back, and I was a skinny little 105 pounds then, and I was told by the nurses that I suddenly, out of nowhere, jolted up from the gurney, and it took 4 nurses to hold me down. It was so strong. So that's what I kind of interpret, like that jolt of like coming back. So the other part about coming back is there are stories of people who don't want to come back. There's a common theme of people who know that they're going to come back, and they don't necessarily want to. And I don't believe that it's because of some sort of death wish, you know, that their life, I mean, maybe for some people their lives are, you know, that miserable that they don't want to come back. But it's just that what's on the other side is so indescribable. There's no pain, there's no sense of time. Everything is just an enormous feeling of love. And so I remember when I heard sirens coming to save me, I was a little ticked off for a moment because I was like, oh no, I'm going to have to go back to that body that had that extreme pain. You know, there is no concept of death on the other side. So it wasn't like, I want to stay dead. You're not dead. You're very much alive. But I knew that I was going to have to feel that pain again. They brought me back. So I only have a couple more minutes, and I do just want to tell you a very brief little story about a TED Talk that I recently saw of a paramedic. And he got to the point where he started feeling guilty for lying to people who would commonly say, am I dying, when he was there to save them. Everybody wants to know, am I dying? And he would lie to them, even if he knew there was no saving them. And he would say to them, we're doing everything we can, sir. You know, hang in there, when he knew that that was not going to be true. And he started feeling really guilty about that. And so he decided from that point forward he was going to tell them the truth. And so he started telling people, yes, I'm so sorry, we've done everything we can, or there's no way we can get you out of here. And it allowed people those last moments to say what they really felt and hope that there was another human being who would hold that space for them. And he said there were three things in what people said. One was a need to be forgiven. They wanted some sort of forgiveness for something they had done. Two was a need to be remembered. And three was a need to know that their life was meaningful in some way. And so when your loved ones come through today, you may get messages of a need for forgiveness, but more importantly, it's a need to connect with you. It's a need to just, even if you don't walk away with some aha moment, the aha moment is the connection itself. Because they need to know that you remember them and that they were meaningful to you. And I'll end with that there. Thank you.
Right?
Yes.
Well, first of all, she just took all the pressure off the medium, so that's
Thank you.
no, I'm here to serve. But, you know, and it was interesting because, you know, the talk of the day was the loneliness and the connection, and then, you know, you brought up that that's what he was saying. And, you know, we didn't talk about this. So the fact that spirit is just really awesome, right? And putting all this together is so incredible. And maybe, you know, there's so many little miracles around us. You know, and maybe if we just notice those little miracles, we can connect to spirit even more. But for any of you who don't want to see miracles, today you're going to talk to loved ones. You know, we have three amazing mediums, and they're going to deliver messages. And just so they can dive in, so that they can dive in and get started, let me just kind of briefly share with you how they may work. They all work a little differently, right? And they all bring a bit of their personality to it. That's the part of spirit. That's why they are chosen to do this work. So some may see things, hear things, feel things, know things. They may go direct, meaning I feel like I am with you, or they may throw it out, who can connect to this. They may provide a name. That name may be for someone in the living or in spirit, okay? One of the things to try to remember, I did have a pet connection yesterday, which was really fun. Those are fun. And this little pooch kept saying, Joe, Joe, Joe. Is there a Joe? No. Joe, no. I was like, all right, little guy, I'm so sorry. I tried. And she goes, oh my goodness, my husband's name is Joel. So So, Joe, you know, it's phonetic a bit too. So just try to understand and know that and think of your loved ones' names. Maybe take a moment and think of your own name. And take a moment and look at what you're wearing. Take a moment, look at what you're wearing, because so many times they'll say, oh, I'm with the lady in the blue shirt. Just not even a peep. Lady in the blue shirt, first thing she does. So take a moment to look at what you put on this morning, all right? And enjoy. One last thing is please use the sound of your voice in responding to the medium. So if they say, can you connect or can you relate, give them a nice, strong, verbal yes or no, not just a shake of the head. Mostly because it raises the vibration and helps in the connection. Secondly, we are all very nosy here and want to know your inside business. So allow the connection, allow us to come together. I would love to introduce our first medium. Fabulous that she is able to come and join us today. She is a certified psychic medium, been tested, also tested in helping with crime, unsolved cases. And she is also a co-medium, which is really fantastic. She has quite a history of working in comedy. But like I was saying, what's wonderful about that is Spirit has used her to use that lightness, to use that banter, to use that ability and to be very present in her message delivery, to maybe add a little levity, add a little joy. And so I love to watch her work, and so please welcome Terry.
Girl, that was a setup. My hands are sweating. Wait, what? Hello, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to be of service to you and your loved ones. Okay, so let me just share with you some of the information that I'm getting right now. First of all, I do feel a female stepping through. Woo, she is strong in personality. She likes to be right. And she also, she feels to me like she would have either had a connection to education. So either she continued receiving education or she was an educator. And I do feel like, okay, I do also feel like she would have been strict with her children in terms of raising her children. So she had this very sort of old-fashioned, traditional way of making sure that her children knew everything and how to put everything in its place and all of that kind of sort of stuff. She was actually very strict with her kids. Strong personality, strict with the kids, connection to education. Can anybody take any of that? I do feel like she's motherly. So she definitely had kids. So if it's not your mother, it could be your grandmother. Anybody? Maybe. Okay. Would you understand, and this is for everybody too, not just you, but perk y'all's ears. Would you understand there would have been a connection to colorful clothing? Okay, I'm with you. Because I also felt like I don't want to, okay. Would you understand also a connection with, do you understand grandmother when I say this? Or do you understand grandmother, right? So you understand mother's side of the family? Yes. Got it. Okay. That's where that will work out. Okay. Would you also understand, would you understand a connection to either travel or her not being in this country? Do you understand that? Or a desire to travel. She didn't get to travel, but wanted to travel. She didn't want to travel. She wanted to travel. It feels to me like it was such a desire that she couldn't do it. So it almost feels, this is kind of strange. Would you understand, Mercury retrograde. Would you understand, because it almost feels like a reason why she is coming through is to tell you it's okay to travel. Okay. Do you understand why she might say that to you? Well, I would like to. You would like to, travel. So that's it. Don't let that stop you. Like, do it. I mean, that's what I kind of feel like. I feel like, and she's really strict, so it's almost like she's saying, you better travel, because it's something she had such a desire to do, so she would like you to do that. It also feels to me that she would have, and this is back to that education connection. So I gotta work this out, because she's like, she was an art teacher. She was an art teacher. But it almost feels like had she had the opportunity to travel, she would have taught other people how to do that too. So if she was an art teacher, maybe she would, paint this pictures of the Sistine Chapel or bridges or whatever. So it almost feels to me that she wants you to do that so that you could express yourself and teach others through your travels. Do you understand that? Possibly. Okay. Well, she's also sending hugs to your mom. So I feel like I have to share that with you. And I also feel like she wants to say to your mom that it's okay to relax and calm down. Do you understand why she might say that to your mom?
I understand that for me.
For you. Yeah. Okay. Well, you can also take that. Yeah. You pass it on to your mom because maybe you don't know what's going on with your mom. But I'm just the messenger. If you can go ahead and do that. And she's also sending hugs. You have a sister. You understand that? She's sending hugs to your sister too. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that with you. Okay. Can I get a clap? I have a chef. I have a chef or somebody who likes to cook. And or it's a connection to the Swedish chef. So, this is a little interesting reference. Okay, and I do feel like there's a connection to fish. So I do feel confident in saying that this is a person who would cook fish or was known for cooking fish, or the complete opposite, didn't like the smell of fish when it was cooking. Guys, so just kind of keep that because that's so freaking specific. I also feel like there would be a connection to your father's side of the family. And I also feel like they would like to acknowledge 3, the number 3. That's not quite clear just yet. So can anybody take any of that, some of that, if you can? A little bit? Except for the father's side. Okay, you got the chef thing? Fish, so like there's real, I mean like that is so strong. Fish, you got fish and you got fish. Okay. Fish. Okay. Would you also understand a connection to the Midwest in the US? Yes. You and yes, you're back in the game. Yeah. Okay. You can take this out. Okay, you're out. Okay. So and you can take father's side of the family? Yes. Okay. There's a definite connection to you got father's side of the family? That one's a little that's iffy. Yeah. Okay. They earn my money today. Would you understand dancing or moving of feet? You got that? You're out? Why? Okay. Okay. You understand grandfather? Yes. Okay. It's like grandparents' day today. Okay. So here's what is kind of coming to me about grandpa. Whew. Do you understand the connection with his stomach or your stomach? You understand stomach issues? Because all of a sudden my stomach's all so to me, I feel like I need to say that he was quite aware of his stomach and he was aware of the issues of his stomach. So from the outside, it may have looked, and I do feel like this is closer to his passing. Yes. He was aware of what was happening, even though it may not have looked like it was aware, like he was aware to other people. Does that make sense? You got that. That's all it is. Okay. Yes. Okay. I got that. It's okay. Yeah, so it's for some reason it's important for him to spread the word amongst the family that he was aware. He was more mentally alert and he heard what people were saying. You understand that? Yeah. So he was aware of what people were saying, and he gives me the feeling like there were people around him. Do you understand that? Oh yeah. Yeah. So he heard what people were saying. Sorry. This is the part where we empath. It's like, challenge. He sends so much love to the family. He wants everybody to know that he heard and he felt the love. Okay, so if you could, because there are some family members, whether it's you or not, that are still like they don't believe that he was still there, even though he wasn't still there.
True.
So it's really important that you pass on to the family that he heard what everybody had to say, and he took it in. And so when it did come time for his transition, or seeing his consciousness, like Lena said, it was beautiful. It's just, and I'm shaking when I say this, because you could only feel what I'm feeling. It was just so much love and sunshine and all that. So if you don't mind sharing that message with the family,
I will do that. And he too is the comedian of the family speaking for me.
Thank you.
Isn't that fun? Beautiful messages. All right. We just so you know, because it is a spirit service, the clapping is just for the love and acknowledgement that loved one stepped through. Because it is a beautiful connection and a beautiful honor that they came through to talk to us and use that medium to connect to you. Okay? So our next medium is wonderful. She she's a Reiki master, but she's also a professional psychic medium. And I do love her. She's just so, I hate to say this, but she's so cute and bubbly and lovable. You people won't get up in there. Give me those cheeks, you son. And she delivers messages from such a heart-centered place. And you're going to feel that. You're going to see that. And this is her first time serving at a spirit service as a medium. And so we will show her lots of love, please.
Hey, thank you. Very nervous, but happy to be here. You see, there are a lot of people here in the room, and I just want to connect to the strongest person here. Okay. So I have a mother figure, who is here today, and she's telling me that she passed from cancer. Okay. She also is telling me that okay, she's 2 children. Okay. Does anyone? Okay. Anyone else? Okay, we've got 3 people. Okay, let me get more information. So this mother died of cancer. I believe it had spread to other parts of her body. And normally I don't get death things because I'm more concerned about how a soul lived. But I am getting that the cancer had spread throughout her body. And the last moments of her life were very, very precious. And so she wanted to, on the one hand, not be a burden, but also to pull people in and express how much she loved and appreciated, having her children with her. It was very, very important to her. She felt like it was the biggest job of her life. Okay. Let me just try to discern which of the 3 of you I'm talking to. So I'm sensing that the cancer started in her breast and spread. So who of the 3 of you can take that? Okay. No? Oh, I've lost everyone. I love it when this happens. Okay. 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 Let me get more information. there are two children? Okay.
Way more than two.
Way more, okay. Maybe she only liked two of you.
This would be like a great grandmother.
Okay. Very, trying to get more information. So she was actually very much of a homebody.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't feel like she really even bothered to get dressied up. She's just admitting it. She just liked to be comfortable. She wanted to just be around people that she loved. And she was very particular too about people she did not really appreciate. She was very kind about it, but she didn't invite them into her space. Does that make sense to you?
Possibly.
Okay. She was just very, very, she knew what she liked, okay, and she knew what she appreciated. She understood the value of family. She really understood the value of like being true to herself and being comfortable. And that's why I feel like she just didn't waste a whole lot of energy with people that didn't really appreciate her. Does that make sense? I don't know. Okay. All right. Let me get more information.
Okay, aside from the breast cancer, I'm still resonating.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so maybe I got the breast thing wrong, but hang on, let me get a little more information. It definitely cancer, definitely spread to other places. What?
We have 2 siblings, and each of us have 2 kids, so.
Okay. I feel like I might be with you. Okay.
I don't know, but go ahead.
Okay. She was also very much, okay, I don't feel like she got out of the house very much. She was in the home, she loved to cook, she just was all about family, really all about family. That was her life. And so she devoted her life, all of her time and efforts were into like, these are my people, these are my children. I'm going to raise them to be the best human beings possible, okay? And so she really sends so much love. And there's a sister, right? Okay. Yeah, I do feel that she's giving a message for both of you. And she's saying that if she was here today, she would be cooking for you and holding close and holding your children close because she's here with you. Okay. There was a soup that she made
Go on.
Okay, everything like that. There was a soup that she made when you weren't feeling well, or when she let comfort food. She wants to let you know that she's thinking about that soup for you today. Okay. All right, I'm gonna leave that with you.
Well, I have to share the day she transitioned was the day before my 18th birthday, and we knew she was leaving, but she kept on saying, "Eat, the table serves. Eat, the table serves." Every time somebody would walk into her hospital room. So yeah, that was very much her. And yesterday I had an epiphany that I don't like to shine because I'm afraid I'll lose her if I shine.
Oh no. She definitely wants you to shine. She definitely wants to give you lots of love and let you know that she's here and that you be the best you that you are and be the comfort.
See, there's no makeup.
So thank you for allowing me to connect with you. I'm getting a male, and he feels like a father to me. Okay, he's very much a caregiver, and he's fairly tall. He looks very tall to me, and very much a businessman, very buttoned up, and like to provide for his family. And at first glance, he seems like pretty serious, but there's a very fun, playful side, especially with his children. Can anyone relate to that? Okay. Anyone else? Okay. Okay. So he's sharing with me a memory that when you were little, he did this thing, and I did this with my dad too, where he would stand on his feet. Okay? Does that make sense to you? Maybe. Okay, because I definitely feel like you're standing on his feet and he's like walking with you, and you know, it's one of those memories that he feels like playtime was really important, and he really appreciated the opportunity to like get down and, you know, enjoy your childhood with you. And he took the time to do that, even though he was very busy and he wanted to earn the most money that he could for the family. It was very important to him as well. So I'm getting that. Did he have a special place in the house that was kind of just his? Like it might have been an office or just like a little special space.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't think from what you said a minute ago that it's resonating.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yes to what you just said though.
Okay. Because he's showing me a special space, and sometimes. Okay. So he's making me feel that he appreciated that that you guys all respected his special space, and he wants you to really like have your own personal space as well for yourself. Because there's a lot of people like tugging at you with your energy and, you know, your attention and things like that, and it feels like, you know, you need your special space. Okay, so if you can just take a moment to give that to yourself, because it really, when you guys were growing up, he respected that space, and you all respected that space for him, and it meant the world to him. And, you know, as busy as he was, and as loving as he was, it was really important for him to like gather up his energies and really find that safe space in his house. And if you can do that for yourself. So that's the message that I'm getting for you. Okay. So thank you.
Are you having fun?
Yes.
Awesome. Would you like some more messages?
Yes.
Yay. Well, we do have another medium in the house. Actually, I'm pretty sure we have a few mediums in the house. But we have another medium that is going to come up and deliver messages for you this morning. I love this medium. She is a friend of mine. They're all friends of mine. She's a friend of mine. She's an amazing Reiki healer. So, like, just when you need a little something extra, a little boost, she can help you out with that as well. But as a professional psychic medium, she has really stepped in to serve spirit, get that information, deliver those messages, and really do it with such passion, with such love, with such light. So I would love to welcome Jules Davis.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for coming here and sharing your energy with us, because I was just sitting in the back feeling the energy of the room, and it's wonderful. So thank you for being here today. I'm just going to take a moment and see who wants to come forward first. All right. Okay, they're fighting over who wants to step forward, so let me just say one at a time. I have a set of parents here because they both want to come in at the same time. But if feel like the father wants to step forward first. So I know I have a father here in spirit. It's making me feel like he's a reserved man. I feel, I definitely feel like his wife was the one that would usually come forward or be more of the spokesperson of the family. So I feel this man liked to kind of step back and enjoyed that his wife was the one that likes to be the more outgoing one. I do feel a gentleness with this man. I feel like he was a very kind man, actually. I do feel like he liked to read a lot. He was very well educated. And education was very important to him as well. I feel like he liked to know a lot about a lot of things. You can go to this man and ask him a question and he would have an answer for you. I do feel like I keep getting pulled over this way. Does anybody on this side understand that? Okay. And are both of your parents in spirit? Or okay. But you do understand that the sorry, possibly. Okay, let me just see what he would like to say. A little bit more. Okay, so you understand everything that I've said so far about your father, though? Do you understand that your mother would have been a more outgoing is a more outgoing person? Okay, so maybe I'm just feeling that energy with him. You also understand the education, because that's very important to him, and I feel like that's something that he would have made very important for his children. There was a lot of pushing through school. You understand that? Do you also understand that? Yes. Okay. Use your voice. Okay. All right. Does anybody else over here? I don't want to say you. Okay. Let me just see. I'm like being dragged over here, so I definitely feel like I'm with you. Can I work with you? Yeah. But keep your ears open. Okay. I do feel like there would have been a very much a closeness in your relationship. Do you understand that as well? Because he's making me feel, especially when you were young, is what I feel. Do you understand that? Because I feel like he's showing me when you're a little girl, there would be memories of sitting on his knee, and I feel like also reading to you. Do you understand that as well?
I don't know about that.
Okay. You understand that? Okay. You guys are on the same line here, so this will be fun. Okay. All right. And this is father for both of you, just so I'm sure.
It's my grandfather, but my grandparents
were like
they pretty much raised me.
Okay. All right. So let me just keep working with him. Let's see where we go. All right. So I also feel like he was a stoic man. I feel like he had a bit of a temper that would come out occasionally, but I don't feel like it was shown a lot. Do you understand?
Yes.
Because I feel like his emotions were quite withdrawn most of the time, and when he would get stirred, and it's kind of like a bear. You don't want to poke a bear because it will come out. I feel like he could have shown a temper at times as well. You understand that? I do feel as well that he's making me feel, again, going back to the education, he was very strict about this because he's making me feel almost like he could be a little bit overcritical or something like that. Do you understand this critical side of his personality? You're shaking your head no. Okay. I'm just going to keep working with you because I feel drawn to you. Okay. So I do know he's making me feel there's another side of him, even though he's showing me these sweet memories when you were a kid, that he could be a bit of a challenging man as well. You understand that? Okay. Because he's just admitting that there were other sides to his personality. I don't feel like that's something that he would have been able to do in his physical life. You understand that? Okay. Because I know with your father, there's this stoic pride with him where apologies didn't come very naturally for him. I do feel that he's around you quite a bit. I feel like whenever there's a challenge, because I do feel that there was a time when you guys didn't connect so well. Do you understand that? He's just making me feel like, I don't want to say that he's making up for it on the other side, but he's making up for it on the other side at the same time. Do you understand that? Because I feel like there's been some challenges, or he wants to mention some challenges that you've been through where you felt quite on your own, and just know that your dad has been there watching over you. And I feel like he's trying to arrange some pieces to help you get through that transition. So I just want to leave you with that, okay? All right. Well, there was a woman trying to come in here too, so maybe they were having that over there. So I now have a woman here in spirit. She feels like a fun lady, strong personality. I tend to get a lot of those. I'm not sure why. Anyways, I feel like she could have been a bit funny too. A bit of a tough one though. She does feel like a relative. She might be an aunt, although there's a motherly feel to her. Okay, so I know she was a strong personality, a strong lady. I do feel like she would command attention when she'd walk into the room. I know that she was quite a fun person to be around. I feel like you could get away with things with her a little bit. I do feel being drawn over to this side of the room.
She always comes through.
She always comes through. Okay. Did you get a reading already today?
No,
Okay, I wasn't sure which one over. You also understand this? Is this an aunt? Just
today, yeah, I did.
You did, okay. Grandma, okay. I do feel like this is a female. This is an aunt for you. Okay. Let me just work with her a little bit more. Okay. I do feel that it's like, I don't feel like she's a mother, but she would have liked to mother you in a way. You understand that, both of you? Okay. But definitely a relative. And I do feel like she was kind of, she liked to get away with slipping you some extra treats or like, she would have gotten into trouble if they would have known about things. You understand that? Do you understand that as well about Grandma? Okay. Maybe I'm working with you then. Are you passing it over? Okay. All right. Let me just work with her a little bit more because I feel like she would have there would have been times where you would have spent alone together. Do you understand that? Or without your parents around?
Yes.
Because she's making me feel there would have been these private moments, and I feel like she likes to spoil you in a way. There's something about her personality that almost wanted to win your affection over, or like you like me better than your mother, or something like that. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but there's this. She's got a very fun, funny personality. I feel, and she very much likes to have the attention. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. I also feel that there would have been times in your life where she would have been single. Do you understand that about your aunt?
Yes.
She's making me feel I didn't need to have a man in my life, or she didn't always have to be reliant on a relationship, is what I feel. I feel like she was okay being independent. Do you understand that?
Right.
Okay. Because she's just a very strong personality. I don't know that relationships were always so easy for her either. Do you understand that as well? Yes?
Yes.
Okay. All right. She's feisty and fiery, this aunt. I like her a lot. I'm not sure that everybody else would have. Do you understand that? Yes, okay. Because she's making me feel that relationships in the family weren't always so easy for her as well. She's very vivacious, and I feel like she almost wants to get you out of your shell a little bit. Do you understand that? Because you're not as outgoing as she would have been. So I just feel like she wants to say it's time to get it out of your own way in a way, and get into the spotlight and own the spotlight, be in the spotlight. Because I feel like she was very comfortable there. She liked to be there, and she would have been trying to teach you that when you were younger if we had this relationship with her. So please take your aunt's love and try to get out of your own way. I feel like she would have liked to dance or something too. You understand that? Because she wants me to dance around the room with her. She's fun. Anyways, just take your aunt's love and thank you. Her name is Rose. Oh, perfect. It's my favorite flower.
Right?
Right.
Are you open to maybe a couple more messages?
Yeah.
Awesome, welcome. Okay. I've got a woman, I've got two people. So I've got a woman in spirit. She's making me feel that she's got a deeper voice because I can feel the tone. So I feel like when she spoke, we listened. I feel like there was a sense of command, maybe respect about it. And it feels like this may be a mother, possibly a grandmother, but if it's a grandmother, you were very, very close to her. And I get this feeling where I'm really drawn to the purple skirt, the lady in the purple, which it's got to be right around you. Would you understand a lady in spirit for you that would have this kind of sense of commanding a room just by her presence? Does that resonate for you? No, would someone around there understand this? Because I feel like I'm right around here. Okay, Terry, you understand that?
Completely.
Okay, hang on one second. Would you also understand this kind of booming voice around her as well? Or commanding just literally by the tone of her voice. Does that make sense?
100%.
Okay. Do you also understand this feeling of, it's weird. You can see like my body is changing. Like I'm really grounded and rooted. Like this is it. And I'm just gonna look at you with an eyeball, and you're gonna know what I mean. Does that make sense to you? Okay. And would this be a grandmother for you, or
Mother figure.
okay? So you understand that
Yes.
mom connection. Okay. Would you also understand around her a sense of I don't know, concoctions. So I feel like she wants to show me concoctions. Either a lot of recipes or lots of things around where she is mixing things up, maybe doing things in a way that other people weren't doing it, especially in her time. That feels really strong.
Possibly.
Okay, hang on one second. Can someone else take this? Because you okay, you understand the sense of the command, the voice, the eyeball? And also the sense she just gave you an eyeball. Would you also understand the concoctions or the mixing? Okay, but also mixing in a way of mixing things that maybe not normal people, I'm sure she's normal, but maybe not normal recipes, wanting to mix it up. Do you understand that as well? Okay. Also a sense as well of she's friendly. She's just not chit-chatty. It's like I don't want small talk. Do you understand that? Okay, Terry, do you understand the not wanting small talk?
Yes.
Okay, but you don't understand the mixing of the.
I just don't know.
Okay, I feel more drawn here, but maybe if you'll just listen for because I feel like there's a connection here, but it feels real. Like I keep wanting to get cool here. She gives me this feeling around you of. I gotta be honest, she's like, all right, you drug me here today, fine. I almost feel like there's a sense of, didn't really like to go, all right, that's fine, if we have to go, we'll go. But I also feel like, too, if she was gonna go, she was gonna be comfortable. So I don't even feel like she's gonna get dressed up to go. Quite frankly, because I see her in some slippers. So I do get this feeling around as well with her, though. She keeps talking about. There's also, I wonder if there's a language. Would you understand another language connected to her or connected in the family?
Yes.
Okay, because I feel like there's another language as well that she would have heard or that she would have been associated with. Okay? Okay. Okay, thank you. She gives me this feeling as well, though, of also being, would you also understand a connection to the Bible? Or,
yes.
Okay, because I just saw the Bible. When I see the Bible, she's like, okay, hang on. All right.
You want to get up here and deliver the message? Come on now, let Grandma in here. She's like, let me talk.
She didn't know. So she gives me this feeling of this Bible, and she gives me this feeling of, she believed in the Bible. She loved the Bible. It wasn't just like, hey, a formality. That she truly believed what the Bible says, and she truly was constantly asking for forgiveness, I feel like. And also, I'll tell you, she does have a love for the family. All right? She really does. She's just a bit, I can't say misunderstood. I think she was understood very clearly. But she said, you know what? She said, it was so difficult. My life was difficult. I don't have time for games. And we just need to get down to business. But you need to know how much I love you. And maybe this is also part of it where she's just telling you, like, trust, to find that within you, to know that you are so much stronger than maybe you've been giving yourself credit for lately. And that it is time to take that step, she says. It is time to kind of move forward with, this almost feels career-wise, but she's saying it's time to move forward and it's time to take that next step. And she said, you know what, I'm here with you. I want you to know I do love you. I want you to know I am with you. And I want you to know that, are we playing babies? You are now. Anyhow, she just sends me a little girl. Oh. Okay, well maybe there's a baby. Anyhow, I want you to know she loves you and leaves that with you, okay? So I'll leave that with you. I have a male in spirit. He makes me feel like this might would be a brother or so close of a friend like a brother. He gives me this feeling around him of he's very animated. He's very big in his movements, big in his energy. Just not afraid to be free. He's very free spirit, and it feels like a brother, or a friend that would be like a brother. And I just saw a D. I don't know if there's a David connection somewhere in the living or in spirit, but can someone connect to this brother or brother-like man? You do?
Brother, my name is Donna.
Okay, thank you. Do you understand a David somewhere in the family as well, or even a middle name David? Okay. Oh, you do? Do you understand this brother-like? Do you understand this?
A lot of brothers. Yeah, my cousin.
Okay, so would you understand the name David as well? How does the name David connect to the name? In spirit?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
Thank you. But I knew the name David was very important. Now, I do know Robin, but I do not believe I don't even comedian read for her, so, but I do know you read this. We stay psychic, okay? But I do feel like this gentleman wants to step forward for you, and he gives me this feeling of being like a brother to you, or close in age, okay? He also gives me this feeling of being very, it's interesting, almost like an actor as well. So there's just this sense of being very bright, very out there, very playful. Do you understand that around them as well? Okay. He also gives me this sense too of spinning in circles. So I feel like there's a sense of being a little off his path or a little lost. Do you understand that as well? Okay. Because he just makes me feel like I got a little lost. And I feel like his passing was quick, and somehow it's connected to this feeling of being lost. Do you understand that? Okay, thank you. He gives me this feeling of, I feel like there's somehow a responsibility around this passing. Do you understand that as well? Okay, because I feel like he just wants to kind of clear the air. He's like, you know, I really got wrapped up in a moment. I got wrapped up in emotions. I kind of couldn't see the big picture. And I just want people to know, like, I'm okay, but it's just a moment. It was a moment, and it was irrational, and I didn't quite see it. And I feel like he wants people to know he sees it now. Because I feel like everybody would talk about his potential and what he was like and all these beautiful things that he had accomplished and what happened. And I feel like he wants to say, oh, I understand, I get it, but I'm up here helping other people. I'm up here sharing this with other people, sharing people to know, like I'll send little messages, and he nudges you. So I feel like, nudging. He nudges you, he gives you these little messages, almost like a tap dance to say you can do this, you can keep dancing, you can keep going, to show you the bigger picture, because maybe you've gotten a little lost in the small picture. Okay, so I will leave that with you. Okay, there we go. Did you enjoy the service?
Yes.
Thank you all for taking the time to come here this morning. You know, we live in a busy city with busy lives and busy calendars, and I love that you all took the time this morning for yourself, soul, spirit, and your loved ones, okay? I also really want to thank the mediums, Jules, Yuson, and Terry, for donating their time and their gifts. I would like to thank Lima for almost dying 4 times. She could deliver this amazing talk today that was not only helpful, but so healing and so inspiring, and such a capsule of truly what it's like so that people have a sense of peace around their loved ones. So thank you. Let's name up just a couple upcoming things. As I mentioned, we have that email sign-up list. I think most of you did sign up. I promise. I don't even have time, but we're going to do it because we have amazing gifted light workers who hold their own events in this space. They hold their own classes in this space. And we have our Sunday Spirit Service every second Sunday of the month. So if one of them is doing an event or class here, it will be in that email. But let's just talk about a couple things that are coming up. We have got Jules on Sunday, August 26th. She is doing a Crystal Healer certification. That is at RLux. That is her space, and it's about 5 minutes away, not too far. And on the 26th, August 26th, there is a full moon meditation and sound bath. Oh yeah, that means you get all up in that healing. And you do it under a full moon, so you like manifest, you purge, you sound bath. It's amazing. So make sure if you can do it, get to it. As for Lima's got a couple things. She is doing an inner journey to happiness. It's 3 mediums with a message. And it's really good. It's 4 lessons to help you understand your higher self, understand loss, fear, lack of abundance, where's that coming from? So she has that, and she will share where that is. You can just talk to her after if you're interested. Then on October 27th, it's in Thousand Oaks, which is out there, but it's an evening of spirit messages. So if you would like to see Lima do her psychic medium connecting to spirit, that's October 27th in Thousand Oaks. And it's with Monica Turlings, Karen Glass, and then Lima herself, okay? And then our next service is, what month is this? I think it's September 9th. It's the second Sunday, so whatever that date is, okay? And I will be with Karen Anderson, who's also a fellow master spirit teacher. We are going to be in Camarillo on September 8th. It's a Saturday. That's the 8th or the 9th. And then I'm so happy in this area on September 29th, right at the Olympic Collection, so like 5 minutes from here, I get to have a beautiful evening of messages with one of the greatest British mediums, tutors, still living in this world and serving, and that's Paul Jacobs. And I also get to serve with Melinda Kushner, who is also a teacher and a medium. And so it's going to be lots of fun. I'm super excited. Bless you. Anyhow, I again want to thank you all so, so much, and please come back next month. Enjoy the rest of your day, all right? Bye.